Just because you do not take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you.
The funds spent were properly spent because we got them from intervention funds.
You only you waka come. There is God.
I don't know which party my wife belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen and my living room and the other room.
Stay in tune with politics on 32 FM 94.9.
Good morning, welcome to the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Great to have you join the conversation this morning. Now, we'll begin today with the health sector, as the joint health sector unions have resolved to continue their indefinite nationwide strike action. YUSUF also accused the federal government of failing to release the circular and salary table required for the implementation of the adjusted consolidated health salary structure. Now, the decision was announced in a communique issued on Tuesday, a few days ago, at the end of the YUSUF's expanded National Executive Council emergency virtual meeting held on Monday. It was signed by YUSUF National Chairman Kabiru Minijiber and the National Secretary Martin Egbanubi. Now, YUSUF and the Assembly of Healthcare Professional Association began an indefinite nationwide strike on the 15th of November 2025, citing the federal government's persistent failure to implement the adjusted CONHIS and address long-standing welfare and systemic issues affecting health workers across health institutions in the country. Now, YUSUF represents several key unions, including the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, the Senior Staff Association of Universities, Teaching Hospitals, Research Institutes, and non-associated institutions, as well as a non-academic staff union of educational and associated institutions. So it's like an umbrella body for health workers in those areas. Now, the communique noted that after deliberation, the union has resolved to continue its indefinite strike action. So this morning, joining us on the podium is the National Secretary of YUSUF, Comrade Martin Egbanubi. Good morning. Great to have you on the podium. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Great to have you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And the podium is a panel discussion. We have two panelists on the call with us. They will be making comments and also asking you questions as we progress with the conversation. Let me introduce first Professor Iyede, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan. Prof, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Yusuf. It's a pleasure to join you this morning. I especially welcome our guest, and I say good morning to Barrister.
Yes, Barrister Yomi Ogunlola is our second panelist. Barrister, good morning, sir.
Yes, Doba, good morning. Good morning, Prof. And to our special guests, good morning. Good morning, Nigeria.
Right. Okay. So, comrade, I mean, your recent communique, which I just read an excerpt from, says that you've resolved to continue indefinite strike because the government failed to issue the circular and salary table necessary to implement the adjusted salary structure. What do you think are the specific roadblocks preventing this implementation, and how did we get here, really? Because there are always concerns, especially when health workers decide to embark on industrial action. There are concerns about, safety of patients and all of that. So run us through how we got here in terms of your engagement with government before arriving at this indefinite strike, and why do you think there's been no implementation of the adjusted CONHIS structure according to your circular?
Thank you so much. Well, the background of this trade dispute is what I want to quickly explain. It started in 2014, precisely on the 2nd of January 2014. The then administration of President Goodluck Jonathan signed an MOU with the Nigeria Medical Association on their salary scale, which is referred to as the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure Comment. And this MOU discussed the salary structure that was established by a collective bargaining agreement in 2009, that is 2009. So this collective bargaining agreement in 2009 was one that established the two salary structure in the hospital, or generally in the health sector. We have the consolidated medical salary structure for the physician, while we have a consolidated health salary structure for all health workers. Okay, by one of the principle of the collective bargaining is that whenever there is an adjustment of either of the salary, it will translate to the adjustment of the other. And so that 2014, there was an adjustment on comments without a commensurate adjustment on CONHES. And this CONHES cover all categories of health workers apart from the physician, which will become the medical doctor. So on this, we, since 2014, as the Joint Sector Union, YUSUF comprises then of about 5 registered unions in the health sector. Nurses was part of us, but of course now we are 4. Nurses pulled out at a particular time. Okay, it's good to give this background. So since then we have been agitating for this adjustment, and series of memorandum of understanding have been signed. Series of resolution have been reached between the government, federal government representative and the representative of the joint sector unions since 2014. In fact, it led to a major strike in 2018, which took even the two parties to the National Industrial Court, and thereafter we have the alternative dispute resolution to resolve this. Okay, yeah. So but up to then, till now, these have not been resolved, despite the fact that YUSUF adhere to the principle of social dialogue since then, in order to resolve some of these issues, because we don't believe in just going on strike, because we know the sensitiveness of our members' work. We know that we have to save lives. We know that this is humanitarian. But of course, the care provider must also be cared for, because we're talking about welfare, and we're talking about issues that borders on the terms and conditions of employment. And by the Trade Dispute Act, this is a dispute of rights. Right. Okay. So now, fast forwarding to where we are now, when the new government, the government of President, because under the president, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, efforts were made to redress this remuneration injustice, because it contravenes the international labor standards and even the Nigerian Constitution and the labor laws. Okay, if we want to talk about remuneration, how to set standards on remuneration. Okay, so now during Buhari's administration, efforts were made to address this. But unfortunately, even we are the National Assembly, we met with the then Senate President, who also intervened. Of course, you know that this thing has been persistent. So they could not resolve that. Because there were.
Hello, comrade, can you hear us? Oh, it appears we've lost connection with comrade. Hello, comrade. Okay. Please let us know if you can hear us. It looks like your line got disconnected there. Hello. Yes, we lost connection with you. You were talking about you went to the National Assembly during Buhari, the late President Buhari's administration. Yes.
So we were there, and
it appears your line is unstable. It appears your line is unstable.
Hello?
Yes. Okay. It appears your line is unstable.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, yes,
okay. All right. Go ahead.
So now, on the 5th of June 2023,
yes,
we had a meeting with this current president. We had a 2-man delegation that met with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and this matter was presented, because for every demand we present to government, this CONHES adjustment is always the first, it's a flagship of all of our demands, because it has to do with the basic salary. Okay. And this is linked to other emolument of our members. Okay, even allowances derive its strength and its mandate. Let me put it this way, right. From the basic salary. Okay, so now this we have sufficiently engaged, and on the 5th of June 2023, the president promised us that this will be looked into. and that made us to suspend that strike action.
So did you sign an MOU then, comrade? Did you sign an MOU? Have you signed an MOU with the Tinubu administration in the course of meeting with them?
Exactly, we've signed up to 5 MOUs.
Okay.
Exactly. In fact, the latest was the 29th of October 2024. That was October last year, where an MOU was signed. And this MOU, one of the items on the MOU is this adjustment of current. Okay? And this we have signed, and we have been following it up with government. We have had a series of meetings, conciliation meetings thereafter, on how this MOU will be implemented. Even there was timeline for implementation of this MOU. Okay?
Yeah.
So, but up to the time we now issued an ultimatum, which expired on the 4th of November 2025, or the 14th, I beg your pardon.
Okay, Comrade, if I can quickly come in here. Yes. Comrade, sorry to interject. So I just want to be clear. The crux of your demand is the increment of the basic salary and allowances for workers under your union, correct? That's the crux of your demand from the federal government. That's what you have been agitating for since 2014.
We narrow. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
We narrow this demand to just one item. The current trade dispute is one item demand.
Okay.
Which is a flat demand on adjustment of consolidated salary structure, which is a basic salary structure. It is not allowances. We are on collective bargaining negotiation to negotiate the allowances. That one, we know that the pace is already set based on the collective bargaining standards of negotiation. That one is ongoing.
Right.
But this basic salary demand, adjustment demand, had been on since 2014. As it is, because the current demand also has to do with a high-level body cooperative, a government setup. Sometimes on the presidential committee on salaries, because anything that has to do with salary adjustment is the presidential committee on salaries and wages that takes the responsibility. Okay, so the budget office of the federation, which also is headed by the director general, is in possession of this document to be presented to the presidential committee on salary.
Right, comrade, please hold our thoughts, sir. Please hold our thoughts, sir. We need to take this commercial break. Please hold our thoughts. We need to take this commercial break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation. It's a podium on 32 FM 94.9. If you're just joining us, our guest is Comrade Martin Egbanobi, the National Secretary of the Joint Health Sector Union, JOSU. We're talking about the nationwide strike embarked upon by the union over a series of demands tabled before the government of Nigeria since 2014. Do stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Happiness is a choice that we want you to make always. Choose to be happy. Choose 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan.
Hello everyone. My name is Linda.
And I'm Ibrahim.
And we know how much this season means to you.
And we hope you can make it even more special by eating some delicious meals made with Sonia tomato mix.
We also wish you jollification in abundance.
So, Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year in advance.
We do.
Oh, I can't take you for a Christmas carol.
Sonia tomato mix, so much
Guinness, real moments, real season. Celebrate the joy, the reason. Real in every way this season. Malta Guinness keeps on nourishing. Malta Guinness is for the season. Malta Guinness is for the season.
Enjoy the taste of goodness this season with Malta Guinness. Real taste, real moments, real in every way.
Malta Guinness is for the season.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 slices suya, 11 orishi, 10 wraps of moi moi, 9 eforiro, 8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 patty jollof, 2 giz dodo, and fufu with egusi. delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Ọlọ́run mọ̀ ìjà orógun pélé landlord lolúwarí ó darúgbó sí.
Mr. Olóòṣèbí kan ẹ ti dé ṣé kò sí.
Ẹ wo ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ tó ń gógó ìlú tójú sú mi. Ó sì wù mí kémi náà fi December kí n ṣe foundation lé mi.
Ẹ má fòyà ọ̀rọ̀ yín ti dayọ̀ torí irú yín ni Zenithal Properties Limited tó wà ní ọjọ́ Ìbàdàn tí èmi àti ẹbí mi ń bá dòwò pọ̀ ṣe máwọn àǹfààní bàǹtàbàǹtà ìwá. Zenithal Properties Limited is bringing you Itura Garden Estate along Moniya Ìṣẹ́yìn Road just 15 minutes from the Moniya train station Ìbàdàn. Ẹ tún ní guarantee C/O lẹ́yìn ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ bá ra ilẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wọn for just 2.8 million naira tó jẹ́ promo price. Ẹ kàn sàsánlẹ̀ 500,000 naira pẹ̀lú àǹfààní àti san yòókù díẹ̀díẹ̀ fún oṣù mẹ́fà láìsan interest fee. Ẹ tún lè ra ilẹ̀ sí Ìbàdàn Rivera Estate wọn ní Ìlàjú Community, Èrúwà Road, selling at just 1.2 million naira promo price pẹ̀lú C/O. You can complete payments within 6 months after making an initial deposit of 250,000 naira. Ẹ̀rí gbogbo àǹfààní yìí ló wà ní Ìbàdàn Land Registry. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wá ṣe ń ra ilẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tún máa gba àwọn ẹ̀bùn bíi màálù, àgbò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. 0903-286-6267 tàbí 0816-332-6868.
Since 1960, when Naija flag been first shine for sun, we full ground with a few dreams, them one by one. Whether the house, school, road, or even bridge, we dey support family, business, and country. Oh. Beyond cement, we dey build better dreams. Beyond concrete, Lafarge dey build nation. Beyond structures, we dey build correct future. Lafarge, we dey for people and planet.
Lafarge, a member of Washin, Beyond Buildings.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Creamer.
Where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Creamer.
It's not tea, but garita.
Kivo Creamer. Kivo Creamer.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ó ga o, gbogbo ìgbà tí mo bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí gbowó wọlé, fíám, wọ́n kàn máa fa oríṣiríṣi owó yọ lọ́wọ́ mi ni. Owó àláàtì, owó ìfowóránṣẹ́ àti owó lórí pé mo san bíìlì pẹ̀lú. Mo kàn láàánú ènìyàn rárá o.
Ṣé o ti gbọ́ pé pẹ̀lú Smart Cash, o lè fi owó ránṣẹ́ sí ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn, san gbogbo bíìlì rẹ, kó dẹ̀ tún gba àláàtì, gbogbo rẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́.
Lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́?
Kódà, wọ́n tún máa san ìdá 15 owó èlérí fún ẹ lórí owó tí o bá fi pamọ́ lọ́dún.
Ṣé lóòótọ́? Àwẹ̀ fọ́nà mi. Báwo ni mo ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ Smart Cash?
Ó yá ká lọ. Kàn tẹ *939# tàbí kí o dáńlóòdù áàpù Smart Cash lónìí kí o lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbádùn gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà rẹ láì ní owó àfikún kankan. Smart Cash, money matter na sense. Smart Cash wá látọwọ́ Airtel.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star Double Cubes. Made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie Double Cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Hello everyone. My name is Linda.
And I'm Ibrahim.
And we know how much this season means to you.
And you know, we hope you can make it even more special by eating some delicious meals made with Sonia tomato mix.
We also wish you jollification in abundance.
So, Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year in advance.
We wish you...
Oh, I can't take you for a Christmas carol.
Sonia tomato mix, so much enough.
It's Laughter Santa!
It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa!
Come on!
Laughter, laughter Santa! La 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 la!
thank you to all our sponsors who made this year's Laughter Santa possible. Partners like Cheetos, Beloxi, Sunch Consticks, Seaway, Dudu, Toddler's Toys Mart, Accessible Publishers, Fauzi Hotels, Vital Products, Nature's Field, Ride Ross, Hallelujah Oil. We say thank you and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance.
Guinness, real moments, real season. Celebrate the joy, the reason. Real in every way this season. Guinness keeps on nourishing. Guinness is for the season. Guinness is for the season.
Enjoy the taste of goodness this season with Guinness. Real taste, real moments, real in every way.
Guinness is for the season.
What you're about to taste is so hot, it's got basket mouth singing.
Mini Niger pepper flavor. Yeah. Mini Niger pepper flavor. Chris. Heat.
Nothing brings the heat like the bold taste of Mini-Me Noodles Niger Pepper Flavor. Try it today and see for yourself. Mini-Me Noodles Niger Pepper Flavor. Slap it like it's hot.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 slices suya, 11 orishi, 10 wraps of moi moi, 9 eforiro, 8 plates of nkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 patty jollof, 2 giz dodo, and fufu with egusi. Have a delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Since 1960, when I got flag been first shine for sun. We full ground with a few dreams, them one by one. Whether the house, school, road, or even bridge, we dey support family, business, and country. Yeah, beyond cement, we dey build better dreams. Beyond concrete, Lafarge they build nation. Beyond structures, we they build correct future. Lafarge, we there for people and planet.
Lafarge, a member of Washin, Beyond Buildings.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Welcome back. It's the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. In case you're just joining us, we are speaking to Comrade Martin Egbanubi this morning. He's National Secretary of the Joint Health Sector Union, JOHESU. Thank you for staying with us, Comrade. Welcome back from that break. Before we went to that break, Comrade, you were talking about, whether or not an agreement had been signed with the Tinubu administration, whether or not a figure had been agreed regarding the basic salary negotiation you're having with them, and then the National Salary Wages Commission as well. So, Comrade, I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay,
Yes, please. I'd like you to. Yes, I can hear you, sir. Please continue your line of thought before we went to that break. Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to also inform us about the reason why we took this action.
Yes.
That's the high-level body committee set up by the federal government, facilitated by the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare in 2021. Okay, and this committee came up with a report at the tail end of 2021, and the report was finally submitted to the budget office of the Federation which is the secretariat of the Presidential Committee on Salaries and Wages. And this Presidential Committee on Salaries and Wages is chaired by the Minister of Finance and co-chaired by the Minister of Labor. Okay, it is this committee that give approval to anything that has to do with salary review or adjustment. Okay, so now after this report has been submitted, we have series of engagement on how the report will be implemented. And since that time, we've been having back and forth with governments. Okay, so we put this current adjustment as the number one demand in any of our MOUs that we sign. And there has always been a timeline allocated to each of these demands, like what led to the 7-day warning strike that we suspended last year, October, precisely on the 29th of October 2024 last year. We signed an MOU with government, and about 15 items on the MOU. The first item is this current adjustment. So we'll be seeing that government have not been committed to addressing this particular demand.
Right.
Okay, and that is this current dispute that we declare a one-point demand, which is the adjustment of, because it is a major demand that has linked to all other demands that has to do with remuneration. Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's go to our panelists now. Let me start off with Prof. Prof, you have the floor. Hello, Prof.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Yes, sir.
It's quite an interesting development because this government already committed to avoiding strike, and I'm surprised that things have deteriorated so far. Given the fact that the strike has been on for some time, my question would be, is there discussions, engagements still going on around resolving the issues, or as a government backed off from the negotiation?
Comrade. Yes.
Okay, can I resolve?
Yes, you can respond,
Thank
sir.
You so
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes.
Yes, as it is now, we only have 2 conciliation meetings, because when a dispute is declared, it is the Minister of Labour, is the Conciliator General of the Federation, that takes charge in discussion that has to do with the parties involved in dispute. Of course, in this regard, it's the federal government and the joint sector union. Okay, so we have had meeting, conciliation meeting at the Minister of Labour, chaired by the Minister of Labour. But as it is, even efforts were made ab initio before the declaration of strike. We had a meeting where the Minister of Finance was present and the Minister of State for Health. There was a commitment on the part of government to give final approval to this. But after the meeting, we're hearing stories again. Okay, so because the Presidential Commission of Salaries met and consider the demand, the current adjustment. But later there was a lot of back and forth. So that was what gave us the option of this strike. Okay, so the 2 conciliation meetings were passed so far. Government had not really come up with the establishment procedures to get this thing resolved, because the procedure is that there are already tables that have been proposed to the Presidential Commission on Salary. Okay, so we want government to issue a circular after giving approval to this table based on the report submitted by the Chairman Salaries and Wages Committee, who chaired, that committee on the adjustment of funds. Okay, we expect government to issue a circular, because that was what the condition we gave to them not to embark on strike. We said they should issue a circular and the table for implementation. Then we now discuss payment plan. These are 3 stages: first circular, table, and the payment plan. Okay?
Right.
These have not been done.
Right.
So these have not been done. There has been no circular and there has been no table.
all, at all.
So now that the strike is, and the government has also not gone to court to challenge the strike, is it that they are trying to wear you out, or you think that they are working on the circular and the table?
Well, from the feelers we are getting, we learn that they are doing everything possible to address the matter. But to us as criminals, we only get convinced when we see a black and white commitments also that suggest that government is ready to accept this matter. So as it is now, well, we don't know. Probably they want us to continue, and when we resume, but we are resolute about it. In fact, the last expanded National Executive Council meeting, next meeting we had, comprises of all the 4 affiliates of JOSU. We made it clear that we are resolute to continue this fight because this is a matter that has lingered for close to 12 years. And we had a direct meeting with him, that is Mr. President, on this matter. And then we expect that he should direct the appropriate organs of government to attend to this matter. And we have had series of calls, even directly to Mr. President on this matter, which will give a directive based on what this matter to be addressed. But we're just, disappointed that there are certain interests in government that are sabotaging this effort. And of course, Mr. President will look into it.
Right.
Because they are dragging out, especially in the health sector. So these interests will be identified and necessary steps taken to ensure that all the bottlenecks associated with these things are removed.
Right.
And let's have this because a government set up a committee that submitted a report. It's not the committee of justice. It's the committee of government, one high-level body committee comprises of representatives of ministry, department, and agencies that have the mandate to take decision on this matter. So how will such process be concluded with government resources? Because the people that were a part of this committee, were sponsored by government through government resources, taxpayers' money.
Right.
So how can the government come up with a report that you cannot implement?
Okay, let's go to Barrister now. Barrister, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So once again, Martin, I welcome you onto the panel. And I want to deviate a little. There's been so much talk about your agitation. There is no doubt about it that Nigerians are solidly behind you. As a matter of fact, I envy your associations. The body of associations comprising the health sector. But there is this question I want to ask. I don't know. I am looking.
Oh, okay. Let's try and reconnect with guests and panelists. It looks like something happened with the connection. Let's see if we're able to get them back on the line. Yes. Right. Barrister, I don't know. The line went off. Yes, we're back now.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. So, Martin, I want to ask, given the sympathy that Nigerians have for your association, particularly in recent times with the Japa syndrome, I will ask how you are reciprocating that. Because we still find situations where people with life-threatening injuries are brought to hospitals, and for one flimsy reason or another, they are rejected by the doctors. And we have several cases of avoidable deaths. So my question is, now that you are agitating, how do you balance that with your commitment, having sworn the Hippocratic oath, how are you balancing it with your agitation? And of course, I will still expect an answer on why doctors particularly refuse to attend to patients with life-threatening injuries considering your Hippocratic oath.
Thank you so much, Barrister. I think our focus has to do with our members. We ask our members to withdraw their services upon the expiration of our ultimatum, midnight, 14th November 2025. And as much as possible, because we know that the issue that has to do with the lives of the citizens of this country are paramount concern to us. So we have indicated that in series of public statements to say that we sympathize with the masses and the citizens of this country, and also solicit their support, because the demand we are making also requires sympathy from every aspect of the society in terms of giving us solidarity, so that government will listen to us. When we declare this strike, make it an indefinite strike. An indefinite strike does not have a tenure. It can be called today and tomorrow suspended. That was what we thought that government would quickly look into, because our issue before government is a very simple thing: approve this thing and issue circular. Okay? So now, with respect to the oath thing, yes, we took that into consideration, but the law also permits us to take this action. That is why whenever we issue our notice to government, we quote the relevant section of the Trading Code Act, especially section 41, that says essential services workers shall give 15 days notice before withdrawal of services, which we did. And we thought within the windows of these 15 days, government will deem it necessary, to address this demand, and without us necessarily going on strike. But unfortunately, government did not utilize this period to do so. So we are also in a life-threatening situation because our members are demoralized. Some of them are passing through a lot of psychological and mental health situations. And so, we are all victims in this, because it's not that we also have the resources to access healthcare in private facilities that we cannot afford or travel out. I said, no, we are all victims. So that is why we expect every segment of the Nigeria society to see how to give all the needed solidarity to draw government attention to address this. Because why we are so surprised that Mr. President is aware of this matter? Because we met with him. So for those maybe doctors, we cannot speak for doctors, the physicians, because they had their own strike and they are suspended it. I'm not seeing as it is now, because I told you earlier that they pulled out of Joesu. Because we used to tell government representatives whenever we have any negotiations or dialogue with them that Joesu even makes it easier for government in terms of collective bargaining and negotiation. Because if we are to be going separately, medical and health workers, Nigerian Allied Professional, NASU and Southside, like it is in the university, I can assure you that there will be persistent industrial issues in the health sector. But we have our leaders in the past, they made it necessary to bring all these unions together, to say let's come together to negotiate with government on issues that borders on terms and conditions of employment of our members, which makes it easier for government. So it's not that we don't consider all this.
Martin. Okay. I also want you to kindly address the second issue, because we have seen situations when you were not, agitating, when there was normalcy, patients being rejected for one reason or another. Well, some will say go and bring police reports and and things like that, and people die So I want to look at a post agitation practice. What would you say is responsible for that, considering your Hippocratic oath? Is it not save life first?
Well, thank you so much, sir. I think even the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Health had issued a circular on this about accepting even a gunshot injury patient and the rest, and in other situations that may occur.
Yes, like accidents and so on.
Yeah, accidents exactly. So, but as it is, barrister, I don't think our members are involved in this because as much as possible, we also go to facilities, even at
Oh, Comrade Martin. Oh, it appears we've lost connection with them. Hello, Comrade Martin. Hello. All right. Okay. So while we wait for him to get reconnected, I wanted to bring Prof in on something because it looks like the health sector is a bit similar to what we have in the universities as well. Because he was talking about how the resident doctors, pulled out of JSU and they have their association now. They just suspended their own strike as well. Okay, it's back now. Comrade Martin, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, sorry, your line got disconnected. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think I was saying that it has not been brought to our knowledge that any of our members are culpable of it. Okay. And then we also ensure that we engage at one point or the other. There is no time in a month that leaders will not also go to facilities to engage with members to know what their challenges are, and also in the issue of human resource gap and even infrastructure gap in the facility. And so it has not been brought to our knowledge, and no management has reported to us that our members are involved in this kind of inhuman behavior, because of course is we can call it an act of inhumanity against human. So we are not aware of that. But however, we stand against anything that will endanger the lives of the citizens of this country. We are for life-saving service, and we will continue to do that.
Okay.
So we, the best of our knowledge in the intersector.
Are you saying this is on the doctors, not the health workers?
Well, I cannot say that because those things have to be properly verified, and whoever is culpable should be sanctioned.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And you made a point earlier about
each professional. They also have their regulatory bodies in charge of discipline and licensing and also regulation. So I think if such happens, then the regulatory bodies should also take the necessary steps.
Right. Okay, so you made a point earlier about the resident doctors, and as you said, they suspended their strike. They have even said that in the next 4 weeks, if there is no resolution of their demands by the federal government, they would also embark on a nationwide strike. So two things. First, do you think that it have been more effective if there is a harmonization of all unions in the health sector? Because I was going to ask Prof the same question as well, because even in the university system, sometimes ASU is not on strike. You hear that NASU is on strike. Some offices cannot be accessed. You can't do some registration and all of that. Sometimes the gates will even be locked. The various means of transportation in the university's environment will not work because the non-academic staff union is on strike. The same thing is also happening in the health sector as well. So would you say that there should be that harmonization of the unions in terms of being more effective in agitating and asking for demands from the federal government? The second one is about this basic salary structure you talked about. So tell us the basic salary structure. Are you asking for parity, with the resident doctors, or yours is different? When I say parity, you're asking for, equal pay for health workers and resident doctors within the health system. So those two questions, Comrade.
Okay, thank you so much. I think number one question I did try to answer earlier, that it is better for unions to come together. We call it a common cause coalition in industrial relations. when we have common issues to address, we come together to address. It pays government and it saves time and avoids unpleasant situation that we have found ourselves in most cases. We will have also wished that the physicians, when we have common cause, we come together to do that. It happened not quite too long when we have issues of arrears of 7 months of a salary review, 25% and 35%. We're working together with NMA and the nurses and that's YUSUF and NAT. We're working together and we achieve it together, okay? And government had paid that money, collectively because it affects all of us. We expect that such solidarity should exist in the health sector, but unfortunately, we see a lot of contests and a lot of dichotomy being advanced, especially by physicians at times, probably limiting interest to themselves alone and also trying to undermine the interest of others, which is also against this section.
So there's internal rivalry at play. Comrade, there's internal rivalry at play. Yes.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
At times they dabble into interest that has to do with USO members. We are completely even violating the rights of USO members. We're against it because in the Trade Union Act of 2014, laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, Section 25 forbids any union association to negotiate on behalf of members of another union. But in most cases, we see interferences from enemy now in terms of encroaching into areas of interest of our members, which violates this section of the Trade Union Act. And of course, when you look at the Trade Union Act, which is the laws of the Federation of Nigeria, if our unions are explicitly listed in the top schedule, Part B and C, but you cannot even find enemy now. So we are the one that have legitimate right to declare trade dispute. But we don't want to go into that now because that is not what we are talking. But what we are talking about is that a government's report will be implemented. Then secondly, the other one you talked about.
Parity. Are you asking for parity with the doctors? Okay.
Yeah, we are not. I'm aware of the Convention 100 of the International Labour Organization, which talks about equal pay for work of equal value, equal remuneration for work of equal value. See, what we're talking about is that at the point of entry, the physicians already have higher grade level, which you call salary grade level above every other health professional. Okay, why they enter at in our own equivalent of 𝐒𝐻 13, and most of our members enter in 10. So the basic salary are not the same.
Okay.
So what we are saying in essence is that there is already a relativity that exists at the entry point because we don't come in at the same level. So there's seniority that all those things that are due to length of training and whatever, okay, or duration of training. So we are not contending that. But what we are saying in essence is that there was something that happened in 2009 that was a collective bargaining agreement establishing this. But this was distorted in 2014. Okay? So now that distortion, we want it to be redressed. Okay? So it's about the basic salary. Our basic salary of mode of entry or entry point and then duration of training is not the same. So we're not asking of equality, we're asking of equity.
Okay. So
we cannot take the same salary. There is no way. Then we are not talking in terms of allowances. We want parity in allowances because allowances based on percentage of basic. So by the time you put percentage on this basic, definitely you cannot earn the same allowance. It can't be the same because each basic has its own value, and which is not the same with everyone. So definitely when you put percentage, even equal percentage on all, it would, by the time it comes out in its value, it will be different. It cannot be the same. So it's just the same.
Okay.
There are a lot of
Yeah.
In this regard.
Yes, and just to quickly bring Prof in, as I mentioned earlier, Prof, one of the things I've heard, and you ask your question after this, after your comment on this, one of the things I've heard is also amongst these unions, and I brought in the university system as well, the internal rivalry, perception of one feeling superior over the other. I've also heard about perception of the government listening to one, listening to one and listening to one's demand, over the other. I don't know if you've or if you can also elaborate a little bit more as to why there's always this rivalry and this perception, and whether or not it's better for us to have this harmonization, Prof.
Well, I think it has to do first with the feeling of the value and position they bring to any organization. For instance, if you look at the university system, it seems as if the academics are those who actually run the university system and play the larger role, while the other ones are regarded as supporting staff. That's traditionally. But now they say they shouldn't be regarded as supporting staff, but as non-teaching staff. So you can see from the traditional nomenclature that discrepancy was already well established and a trend.
Yes.
I thought they are not just supporting staff there. In fact, to show that they also have a legitimate place within the university system. And then the other part is really that when we go on strike, there are no lectures, there are no classes. It's immediately felt by students. But if non-teaching staff go on strike, nothing really happens. We can still be going to class. The student can, in fact, attempt to take over some responsibility, minimal basic responsibility to keep their life going. And so that makes them feel also powerless. And that's why while we're on strike, we don't go close the gate, for instance. They want to lock the gate. They want to paralyze activities within the physical movement within the universities and so on. Yeah. So I think those are some of the rivalry. But one thing is very clear. All of us are under the same salaries and wages commission, or run under the same government ownership, public ownership. And if we are in conflict with one another, then we play into the hands of government who wants to implement a divide and rule policy in order to weaken both sides. So if you transform a conflict between us and the government into a conflict between those of us who are supposed to be on one side, then you give the government a happy hand, and they can interpret what's going on within the university in a very different light. I think we have moved beyond that stage. Both parties have seen the consequences of that kind of rivalry. So it's no longer as strong as it used to be.
Right.
And I think that it's important for us to recognize the importance of whether teaching or non-teaching staff within the university system. Just as it's also important to recognize the role of the physicians and the other categories of workers in the health sector. Yes. So it's just a human thing that we don't want a situation where some group are elevated. Each time they go on strike or complain, they are responded to, while others are neglected. I think the government should also be concerned about inequality, job satisfaction, commitment to the system. If we put all of these very important factors in dealing with it, then we won't have this problem. Because even when you look at it within the academics itself, you'll find that the way salary structures have been adjusted, it creates a huge gap between those who are at the top, the professors, and those who are at entry level. So the inequality is extremely so high that you wonder whether they pay attention to the survival of those who are just taking job for the first time. Right. So that inequality is a very fundamental issue that government should address. I think that the goal would be to ensure that even the least worker within the system has something that looks like a living wage, not a wage that is even unable to pay their transport fare to the workplace.
Right.
It's a general problem that we need to approach.
So you can ask your question now, Prof. You can ask your question.
Yeah. So the the situation now is post this current ongoing strike. What is the hope that the strike will come to an end? And what other extra collective bargaining activity is going on? Because I think that even within ASU, we found that it is not sufficient to just engage government. You need to appeal to well-meaning Nigeria, to people of goodwill, to intervene, whether in the form of mediation, in the form of show of concern, to facilitate a peaceful and quick resolution of the problem. Because as Barrister has raised, when two elephant fights, the grass suffers. People are already missing or out on a lot of services. We need the system, and we see our health system is in very bad shape. Now there's this spiral, wide strikes are all over the country. So what can we do? What are you doing to reach beyond this tripartite negotiation into reaching out to people of goodwill, to stakeholders, the broader stakeholders, the larger stakeholders, to intervene so that we can have a quick resolution of the matter? It seems you have gone very far, and suddenly we need probably an external intervention to quicken the process.
Yeah, comrade.
Thank you so much, Prof. Yes, we've been doing that even since the day one of the commencement of this indefinite national strike. We've been engaging also with our labor centers, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. We've been engaging them. Not too quite long. There was a press release from these two centers giving solidarity to the strike and urging governments to, as quickly as possible, meet this demand. This is what we have been doing. We are also, trying as much as possible to reach out to well-meaning Nigerians, stakeholders, who are also, people we can get their solidarity because this is very important. It furthers on the heads of the citizens of this country. And what government must realize is that Human Development Index has its basic components from health and then education. Health is very critical, and it is something that is fundamental, even with respect to the provision of Nigeria Constitution, that governments should ensure that there is adequate provision of health to cater for the well-being of the citizens. So
okay.
we need that. We have also used the appropriate media, both print and electronic, to also engage the public to seek the sympathy and the understanding of the members of public, especially women in Nigeria, and then consumer of health, because like I said earlier, we are all victims in this regard, and we must make our system to work. And we not only, like the minister, the coordinating minister of health will bear us witness, but that even in most of our engagement with government, we don't only talk about our welfare, we talk about infrastructure, we talk about skill upgrade, we talk about even bridging the gaps that are the human resource gap that have been created as a result of the Japa syndrome, and also to see how to mitigate the effect of migration of health workers. So, those are critical things we have also put before government, and some legislative reforms that can also improve on healthcare delivery in this country. But however, on this, we have done that. We are still doing that.
Comrade,
we are engaging widely, even informally with some government actors to see how they can intervene, because we have few individuals in government who understand it. But we still have certain individuals who are sabotaging this effort. And those are the individuals that we want governments to appropriately deal with, and then see how we can get out of this quagmire. It is not in our interest to continue this strike or allow it to linger the way it is.
Right.
It is not also in the interest of the generality of this people of this country.
Right.
So
Thank you.
we want all the interventions to ensure that this demand is met, and then we move on. And like Prof has said, yes, we have ongoing collective bargaining negotiations that has to do with allowances. It's still ongoing, and we are going well with government. But unfortunately, in between, government also bypassed due process, probably due to certain manipulation I also mentioned. We are in collective bargaining, we have not concluded. We saw a circular that was released with respect to allowances. I mean, when even the process of collective bargaining has not been completed.
Right.
So some of these policies, somersault and manipulation of not following due process is also affecting us. We have always advocated, that we need to adhere to best practices in the healthcare.
Okay.
And the management of our health institutions,
Right.
and in dealing with issues that borders on the welfare, terms and condition of work of our members and of health workers in general. So we cannot just be doing things in a haphazard manner and expect normality, to exist, or stability of the health workforce in terms of the industrial relations system.
Right.
To happen.
Comrade. Yeah.
It cannot happen in
Thank
such
you.
a manner where, as we are having negotiations, we are also coming up with policies that further divide us, that further cause tensions and heat up the policy in the system.
Right.
So I think government needs to take caution and let due process prevail. Let's adhere to international best practices and then international labor standard.
Right. Thank you,
our
comrade.
labor laws and even some sections of the constitution that in the exclusive list also derive their power.
Okay. Thank you, comrade.
Because
We need to. Hello,
the
comrade.
Constitution about
Yes.
the rights of workers.
Yes. Thank you,
So
comrade.
the section 40, we have even a section 17 in chapter 2 under the fundamental objectives.
All right,
and directives
comrade.
of the public.
Comrade. Thank you so
All of
much.
these are-
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, comrade?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Okay. So, thank you so much. It's been a very, interesting conversation with you. We need to end this segment of the show, so I'll quickly pass the baton to Barrister, so he would ask his final question and make his final comment, and then we'll go on to the next guest. So, Barrister.
Yes, Martin, I see say you don't vex this morning, and we do something. We try to cool temper, try to make you laugh before you go. Are you ready to laugh?
Well, if it is a pleasant something, if it's not pleasant,
You will laugh. Don't worry. You will
pleasant
laugh.
things,
It's
they
all-
make person laugh
you will
now.
laugh.
Okay. Now be this now.
Salary increment. Go make us
Salary
laugh.
increment.
Now I want to
Or-
talk now.
or credit
So,
alert. Mhm.
If government can't agree now, then they start to send message to your mailbox. I hope say you no go forget to invite us for lunch.
Right. Thank you so much, comrade. Yes.
and debit and not to government.
Thank you so much, Comrade Martin Egbanubi, the National Secretary of the Joint Health Sector Union, YUSUF, for speaking to us on the podium this morning. It's been great to have you. Thank you so much. Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, so we'll switch gears now from the health sector. We'll go to our next guest on the podium. We'll be talking about the recent development in West Africa, which people have said, threatens democracy within the sub-region. Talking about the recent coup attempt in Benin Republic that happened a few days ago, and the intervention of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will be joining Professor Isaac Olawale Albert. He's a professor of African history, peace and conflict studies, to tell us the implication of this in terms of the fragility of democracy, the importance of that intervention, which has generated a lot of reaction. Some say Nigeria should not have gone in there. Nigeria should have gone in there. What does this say about our strategic importance, as a country within the West African sub-region? Of course, it was on Sunday, to be precise, yes, that the coup attempt happened in Benin Republic. It began on Sunday morning when a group of soldiers seized the national television and announced the deposition of the president, Patrice Talon, who has been in power for about 10 years. The attempted coup was swiftly defeated by forces loyal to the president, critically supported by the Nigerian Air Force. While the former colonial power France and regional country Ivory Coast offered Benin Republic support, Nigeria was instrumental in quashing the rebellion. Nigeria deployed military jets to target the mutineers as forces loyal to Benin's president surrounded a base where the plotters had landed at the time. So this coordinated action forced the coup leaders to retreat from both the state television station they occupied and the presidential palace they had tried to take by force. By Sunday, the Interior Minister released a statement saying the Beninois army had fought the attempt, and that evening President Talon appeared on state television promising to punish those responsible. Now, Nigeria's role in Benin, although commended by the African Union regional bloc, the ECOWAS and other international bodies, also drew criticisms back at home. Some Nigerians wondered how Nigerian fighter jets thwarted a coup in a foreign country while seemingly unable to do so to bandits and armed groups terrorizing villages back home. Now, the failed coup comes at a very, precarious time for West Africa, as several West African countries have witnessed coup in recent years, including Benin's northern neighbor, Niger, Burkina Faso, as well as Mali, Chad, Guinea, and most recently Guinea-Bissau, where soldiers seized power just last month. Now, a successful takeover in Benin would have further weakened ECOWAS, according to some analysts, which suspended Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger following the successful military takeovers in those countries. Now, these three nations then formed their own confederate alliance known as the Alliance of Sahel States. Many in this alliance welcomed the initial announcement by the Beninois coup leaders on Sunday. And analysts believe that a successful coup in Benin could have led the country to leave ECOWAS and join AES, which also further threatened Nigeria's strategic position in the Sahel region. We're trying to connect with Professor Albert this morning, but it appears it's not joining yet. But let me go to Prof. I mean, this issue brought up a lot of conversation about Nigeria, our strategic relevance in the region, what we've done in the past, in terms of making Africa the centerpiece of our foreign policy, questions about whether or not, it was our business to even go in there in the first place. Prof.
Yeah, I think it's our business to go in there. We are no doubt the regional power in West Africa. I think the next to us will be Senegal. And we have always played that role. If you look at the formation of ECOWAS itself, Nigeria was very central to it. And it's important for us to recognize not just our importance in terms of the size of our population, the size of our economy, but also in terms of the military to other countries. Then, of course, those countries are also much more smaller countries. Apart from those who are along the Sahel region that have very large landmass, in terms of population and land, we are actually very significant countries. And we also command a great deal of resources. The real check is really that we have not been able to fulfill our potential. Otherwise, our significance is not just within the West African region. We are supposed to be a major power within the African continent. And that's why when you talk about the two positions that people are working towards in the Security Council, permanent seat, Nigeria is always pushing towards being, if it is only one seat, to be the one, and if it is two, to be one of the two. So Nigeria is a significant player. Then when you also look at our history, not just in terms of the formation of ECOWAS, but in intervention in conflict situations, whether it's the civil war in Sierra Leone, the civil war in Liberia, our role in ECOMOG, then of course, that we're a big force within the West African region. And we are also been able to survive because those French, small countries surrounding us who are French-speaking recognize this potential and this strength that we have. And as such, they give us our due. Then in the case specifically of Benin, Benin is a neighbor. We are culturally affiliated to them. There's a lot of Yoruba people in Benin, and we have a huge common border, and we can create a situation that will make life unbearable for those the Beninois as their cause. So we really have very strong influence. And we have even had problems, including smuggling, including even cross-border robbery and things like that we've been able to address. And when we think that they are not doing well, we only need to make one major policy move, and then they will start rushing to appeal to our support. So that's for the strength and the status of Nigeria within the West African sub-region. But even more important is really the role that we are expected to play as a strong force. Strong force, but also a strong force for democracy. It is unfortunate that our democratic credentials are not as strong as they are supposed to be, and that's why we are making all of these problems, all of these issues. The second one is also a fragile security situation internally, which we have not been able to get on top of. And those are the two bases why people are asking, why is Nigeria going there? They are saying, oh, we can't solve our own problem, banditry is everywhere, kidnapping, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and so on. So it is going to demonstrate strength in a small country like Benin that will give us a sense of confidence. Then they also say, what about our elections? They are rigged. The 2023 election was very controversial, and so on and so forth. So, but I think fundamentally we can't keep quiet and stand by and allow instability to return. It's particularly very important because I think the third reason is, look at what has happened, what Talon has done in the Republic. He has actually perpetuated himself. He has undermined opposition. He has influenced the constitution, changed the constitution. So I think those are the three factors that people are saying. If you didn't act when Talon has been doing all of these things, so why are you going to save him? But I think the principle is very clear. And what makes it even further clearer is the declaration of state of security emergency by ECOWAS itself. I think that what has happened in the Sahel has rolled back the achievement of ECOWAS for over 50 years. And people are not really happy about it. Otherwise, until this spate of coups, ECOWAS has a relatively very good record as a body that has been able to manage the region, successfully intervening in challenging military situations in many places, from the Gambia to Côte d'Ivoire, and now to the Republic of Benin. So it has some very inspiring record. And these things have spoiled the record. So it's good that this intervention was done for whatever it is worth. It also reminds us that we have gone there to make a move. We must not fail ourselves. Otherwise, it will even be more embarrassing.
Yeah, and Prof, speaking of intervention, same thing happened in Niger, and there was a debate about whether or not Nigeria should intervene. And you brought out the cultural angle to it. I find it interesting because at the time we saw members of the Senate, especially the Northern Caucus, talking about ties with Niger, the fact that the boundary lines are blurred. These are people that have existed for years before the colonialists came in, and then they brought out their own artificial lines, the partitioning of Africa and all of that. In fact, the senator was talking about how some of them have wives from Niger Republic, have cousins and all of that. So talk to me about the dynamics of us not going into Niger and why we're able to go into Benin Republic. So can we link it to the cultural and historical ties between Nigeria and Benin, as opposed to the cultural and historical ties between Nigeria and Niger Republic, where those in the north did not want Nigeria to intervene, and people here, some of them wanted Nigeria to intervene in Benin Republic, some of them didn't. So it was some kind of unanimity with the decision not to go into Niger, but there's still dichotomy in the south regarding whether or not you go into Benin Republic. I don't know if you understand my line of thought.
I understand what you're saying, but it's actually far from that. And time in politics, in intervention, time is everything. In a sense, the Benin Republic was an intervention while the art is unfolding. But in Niger, it was a fait accompli. I mean, the military has taken over. They've already been in government. and then you are behaving as if you are going to launch a war. But this one was, why these people were still wondering, oh, is it going to succeed? Is it happening? They're already there. So they didn't. I think the time, the lifespan of the event is completely different. I think it makes a major strategic view in situation in terms of the choices that were available. If, for instance, they've taken over and they've settled down, and Nigeria is now threatening to go and war with the Republic, nobody will support it. You know, I think they learned from the experience in Niger that if you are going to intervene, you have to intervene swiftly before the conclusion of the act. It's very easy, you know, now for us to be talking about, they intervene, but if the people were in power and Tinubu says, they should resign, I want to go there and fight a war, and I don't think it will enjoy the support of Nigerians as well.
All right.
I think that's actually the most significant factor. It was more preemptive or preventive rather than declaring a war after the fact, because those people would have had time to mobilize the army, cultivate the support of Burkina Faso and all of that, which is what Niger did. And they started threatening that if you go to Niger, you are fighting all of them.
Yeah.
They quickly started accelerating the kind of a relationship they have with those countries who have been taken over by the military, and started signing support that if anybody is attacked, they are going to join forces. You know, it's a very different scenario from the case in Benin, and that's why I completely support it. Even the fact that it was very swift, timely, and effective. And then the objective was very clear. Now, if they are taking over, what will you do? And they have the support of Niger, they have the support of Mali or Burkina Faso. It's a different strategic situation that it would have been. So I think they did well, and that's why ECOWAS, recognizing this situation, officially now declared a state of emergency. I think there's already a state of emergency in ECOWAS around this change of constitutional change of government.
Yes.
Because the principle have been well set and defined. I think they are only learning how to handle it in given these circumstances. And I believe that with what has happened in Niger and Benin, they should know better what to do and how to mobilize the ECOWAS standards.
Right. Okay, we'll take a commercial break now. When we get back, we'll go to Barrister to get his line of thought, and hopefully we'll be able to connect with Professor Albert on the second segment of the show. It's a Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Remember, we're live on Facebook, 32 FM 949. Go to Facebook, like, comment, and share the video. We'll be back in a moment to stay with us.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggi Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggi Star Double Cubes, made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggi brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggi Double Cubes today. Me and Maggi, so good together.
What you're about to taste is so hot, it's got basket mouth singing.
Mini Naija pepper flavor. Mini Naija pepper flavor. Chris. Heat.
Nothing brings the heat like the bold taste of Mini-Me Noodles Naija Pepper Flavor. Try it today and see for yourself. Mini-Me Noodles Naija Pepper Flavor. Slap it like it's hot.
Uber. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 slices suya, 11 orishi. 10 wraps of moi, 9 eforiro, 8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangles, 3 patty jollof, 2 giz dodo, and fufu with egusi. delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Hello everyone. My name is Linda.
And I'm Ibrahim.
And we know how much this season means to you.
And you know, we hope you can make it even more special by eating some delicious meals made with Sonia tomato mix.
We also wish you jollification in abundance.
So, Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year in advance.
We wish you.
Oh, I can't take you for a Christmas carol.
Sonia tomato mix, so much
Multi-Guinness, real moments, real season. Celebrate the joy, the reason. Real in every way this season. Multi-Guinness keeps on nourishing. Multi-Guinness is for the season. Multi-Guinness is for the season.
Enjoy the taste of goodness this season with Malta Guinness. Real taste, real moments, real in every way.
Multi-Guinness is for the season.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ó ga o, gbogbo ìgbà tí mo bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí gbowó wọlé, fíám, wọ́n kàn máa fa oríṣiríṣi owó yọ lọ́wọ́ mi ni. Owó àláàtì, owó ìfowóránṣẹ́ àti owó lórí pé mo san bíìlì pẹ̀lú. Mo kàn láàánú ènìyàn rárá o. Ṣé o ti gbọ́ pé pẹ̀lú Smart Cash, o lè fi owó ránṣẹ́ sí ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn, san gbogbo bíìlì rẹ, kó dẹ̀ tún gba àláàtì, gbogbo rẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́? Kódà, wọ́n tún máa san ìdá 15 owó èlérí fún ẹ lórí owó tí o bá fi pamọ́ lọ́dún. Ṣé lóòótọ́? Àwẹ̀ fọ́nà mi. Báwo ni mo ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ Smart Cash? Ó yá ká lọ. Kàn tẹ *939# tàbí kí o dáńlóòdù áàpù Smart Cash lónìí kí o lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbádùn gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà rẹ láì ní owó àfikún kankan. Smart Cash, money matter na sense. Smart Cash wá látọwọ́ INT'L.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star double cubes. Made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie double cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Creamer.
And where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Creamer.
If not tea, Papa Garita.
Kivo Creamer. Kivo Creamer.
Uber. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 slices suya, 11 orishi, 10 wraps of moi moi, 9 eforiro, 8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 patty jollof, 2 geese dodo, and fufu with egusi. Have a delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Is it okay to make fun of our tooth gap? Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong. Stop cover your mouth. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. 0 cavities and fresh breath. If you use a Colgate paste. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate.
Colgate, #1 oral care brand in the world.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Multi-Guinness, real moments, real season. Celebrate the joy, the reason. Real in every way this season. keeps on nourishing. Malta Guinness is for the season. Malta Guinness is for the season.
Enjoy the taste of goodness this season with Malta Guinness. Real taste, real moments, real in every way.
Malta Guinness is for the season.
Uber. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 slices suya, 11 orishi. 10 wraps of moi moi, 9 eforiro, 8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 patty jollof, 2 geese dodo, and fufu with egusi. Have a delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Unveiling of Oyo at 50 logo and 50-day countdown ceremony. Ọ̀yọ́ state at 50. Bí àná lórí nígbà tó gbó kọ̀. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ oríire yí wápò. Dàsìkò yìí láfẹ́fẹ́ ayọ̀ ń fẹ́ lẹ́lẹ́lẹ́. Gbogbo onípojúpọ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ á kú oríire Ọ̀yọ́ state golden jubilee. Oníṣòwò nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Oníṣòwò òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba gbogbo lórí olókoòwò. Àgbẹ̀ ọmọ bíbí àtàjèjì nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Pọ̀pọ̀ ṣìnṣìn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2025. Ìṣàfihàn ìdámọ̀ tó ń ṣèdáyàtọ̀ àmì. 50 ọdún ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ọ̀yọ́ state golden jubilee. Ó tó yọ̀ sí. Àkọ́kọ́ ọrú ẹ̀ lélẹ́yìí. Ọmọ bíbí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa sọ kúlúkúlú ló kan àyà yín. 50-day countdown látọjọ́ Monday ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2025. Àjọṣe wa ní Ọ̀yọ́ State Golden Jubilee. Ọ́fíìsì gómìnà Secretariat Agodi Ìbàdàn láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Aago 10 àárọ̀ ní lọ́jọ́ náà. Ìdùnnú ńlá ló jẹ́. Tírú àjọ̀dún yìí sojú wa. Tójú wa sì ń ríṣẹ́ ribiribi. Lásìkò gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Gbogbo èèyàn pínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ pariwo ayọ̀. Ìkéde yìí wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ alága ìgbìmọ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ State at 50. Àjọṣe gbogbo wa ní gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé. Gómìnà tó bùkún ọlá nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ kú oríire o.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. The Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Don't forget you can be a part of the conversation by joining us via Facebook, 32 FM 949 Fenye. You can also call 0705 5000 949 0809 7000 949 0906 2000 949 to chime in on the conversation whenever you want. So let me go to Barrister. Now, Prof said, Nigeria needed to go into Benin before the military men settled, and the intervention was necessary to ensure stability of democracy in the sub-region. Barrister, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. I am not going to deviate too much from the submission of my noble professor. Military assistance is as old as warfare itself. There are stories from biblical times to the present age where countries offer troops, weapons, training, or funding to their allies or partners. It became prominent during the Cold War years, with powerful countries using it to build areas of influence. ECOWAS, for instance, interfaced in conflicts in the sub-region with the aim of building capacity, ensuring security, projecting power, and also achieving strategic goals, which more often than not are tied to political goals. The intervention, again, accords with Tinubu's foreign policy of the 4 Ds, i.e., diaspora, development, demography, and democracy. So perhaps this is the democracy aspect of the foreign policy. I think what Nigerians appear to be quarreling with is whether it is right to protect a pseudo-democracy like obtained in Benin Republic, where Talon has captured both the judiciary and the electoral process. For instance, if there is a coup in Cameroon, will Tinubu deploy our forces there to support a despotic rather than a democratic government or administration? Some even see Tinubu's action in Benin as jittery, as the president being jittery, or an expression of fear, given that the situation in that country appears similar to what obtains in Nigeria. Don't also forget, there is also the French factor. Some have said that it was Macron that called Tinubu and asked for his assistance to safeguard what probably is left for them within the West African sub-region. And that, if it is true, would be distasteful, because it would mean the president using the resources of state to satisfy, his personal, whatever you want to call it. So I think, in summary, military assistance highlights the shifting global dynamics. It bolsters allies against common threats like terrorism. It can be for political goals, like I said earlier, or influence. It can also be for economics. For instance, the fear by Nigerians that the coming of Trump to resolve our security crisis is an attempt at securing our resources. But nobody has made mention of the other possibility of perhaps opening up markets for their governments. So in summary, like I said, it would not be a bad idea if the intention is sincere, altruistic, and not born out of selfishness, for which our leaders are known.
Right. Okay. Let me go back to Prof now, because one of the issues that came up during this intervention, the course of Nigeria's intervention in Benin Republic, is the conversation around why people of these countries, that have witnessed coup, seem to be welcoming to the military men. And if you look at the dynamics in Mali, for instance, it's postponed elections several times. In fact, the elections are uncertain. There's uncertainty as to whether or not elections will hold, given what Assimi Goïta has done since he took over in about 2021 thereabout. Mali is also battling insurgency and terrorism, especially in the northern part of that country. Same thing with Burkina Faso as well. So you tend to ask yourself, what have these military men brought, and why do they enjoy this kind of support and applause of the people? Because if you look at these countries, regardless of the propaganda that has been done about Ibrahim Traore and all of that, if you go deeper, you see that they still have the same problems that the people complained about when they had their respective quote-unquote democratic leaders at the time the military took over.
Yes, I think it is in the nature of politics. If you ever heard, it's either Jonathan or it's it's anything but Jonathan.
Yeah.
And you understand how people often react to circumstances. They don't often react rationally. They just get fed up, and they know they are fed up, and they just won't change. And then if you are in a situation where you can take advantage of anything within that time frame, you just do. Again, if you even look at Nigeria, you will think that Nigerians will not welcome any military government because of our experience with previous military government. But if you look at the result for Afro Barometer survey, it seems younger people who were not privy to those experiences don't give a damn if the military takes over. And remember that the last military coup is over 25 years now.
Yes.
So people who are 25 years and above, or even those who are even 30 years or 35 years, they may only have very faint ideas about the military and the challenges that we face at that time. So such people would definitely be open to ideas that paint the military as an alternative. Then what is particularly very critical is the dividends of democracy. So if you say, oh, democracy is better than military rule, and then we are in a democracy, and poverty is skyrocketing, and cost of living is getting higher and higher, elections does not seem to be transparent with good integrity. You'll find people then ask, so what is it about democracy? What have we gotten from democracy? And they start toying with all kinds of ideas. In Nigeria, people say you must survive first before you talk about defending democracy. If democracy threatens your survival, why would you support democracy by all means? So I think democracy itself is in going through a crisis globally. If you look at what is happening with the rise of populism in places like the US, in Hungary, in the return of right-wing parties in Germany, in all those places, you find that democracy is actually being threatened. And there's a return of authoritarian rule because democracy did not deliver in terms of the economic benefits. To be fair, in early studies of democratization, whether in Nigeria, Africa, or elsewhere, I've always emphasized the fact that if democracy does not lead to economic growth and development, it's likely to lose its appeal. And that is what has happened all over the world. Inequality has increased, and because of the rising inequality, extremism has also followed, whether politically or religious or other kinds of extremism. So we've seen a return of civil wars, return of extremist movements, Boko Haram, religious movements, so on and so forth. All these extreme alternatives that really promises nothing significant, but challenges democracy to perform. I think what we need to do is to work on democracy and see if these threats would make the leaders have a rethink about how they govern.
Right.
Because it's not sufficient to exercise political power. Political power must be exercised responsibly for the goals and dividends, economic dividends, especially socio-economic dividends of democracy to happen. When you take over government and your mandate is questioned and the policies you bring impoverish significant number of people, then you will be concerned about the kind of event that is happening in the Republic.
Right.
I think it's a pointer to the president that if you can stop the coup in the Republic, you should also pay attention to what causes that coup and how it could have been prevented in the first place. And it's also good that they didn't succeed in taking the same move in Niger and other places, because it also tells them that you cannot always succeed. The long-term goal would be to make democracy responsive to people's needs, make life easier for them, and make them have access to good quality education, good infrastructure, and good health care. These are very fundamental areas where democracy has not fulfilled these problems.
Okay, Prof. There's also the angle of the battle of interest by these various proxy parties, France and Russia. People talked about the side of France influencing Nigeria to go into Benin Republic, the closeness between Emmanuel Macron and President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria. In fact, they've signed all kinds of deals regarding taxes and all of that. There's also the side of these Sahel countries, where we understand the influence of Russia and the Wagner Group. So is this also pointing to the fact that the power dynamics, the influence of these external powers in Africa is changing? It's changed from the face of, because before now, during the colonial days and the early years of independence, even the partitioning at the time, it was mostly rivalry between Britain and France. Some say the rivalry even came to the fore during the Civil War, where Britain supported Nigeria, France, Netherlands, and Belgium. Other countries allegedly supported the Biafra movement at the time. So is the dynamic dynamics of external influence in Africa also changing? Is that what we're seeing here, where those under military rule appear to have support of the Russian government and all of that, and those whose democracy has been threatened appear to have the support of the French government in all of this? And then, where do you think Britain and the United States also stand in this power dynamics equation?
Of course, in the world that we live in, it's exploitation that is the rule. The original position of the United States, for instance, which emphasizes the promotion of democracy across the world, has taken a backstage. If you look at the recently released national security policy of the Trump administration, even the few paragraphs, the 2 or so paragraphs dedicated to Africa, talks about access to rare earths, minerals, access to the resources in Africa, and it's just about cutting deals, in order to have access to resources in Africa. The whole idea of promoting democracy was not strongly emphasized in that place. In fact, we are in a different international order that is no longer unipolar, because in those days, early days, around those 1990s and up to 1999, we turned to democracy. We were more or less in a monopolar world, in a unipolar world in which the United States was calling the shot, and it was going everywhere through its soft power, using democracy as the handle. That is no longer the case. Now there is raw struggle for resources, and Africa seems to be one of those. So it's a different. It's different from the Cold War period where we have this ideological divide. Now, Nigeria has never been associated with any ideology. I think it has always been among the non-aligned movement. So the interest of France in Biafra is strictly also for resources. So I think we are still close to the kind, but is that it is much more crass now than before.
Please hold that thought, Prof. Please hold that thought. Let's take this call. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello. Oh, Prof, please go ahead. We had the call before. Go ahead.
Okay. One important issue that we should not forget is really the fact that Talon is like Tinubu. He's a businessman who is interested in making money. He has a business connection in France, and of course, Tinubu's connection is in France. So it's an intervention on behalf of a friend. So, but it is not only that Tinubu is close to Macron. By the very fact that it's close to Macron, and Talon also has his business interests in France, you find that they have common interests. So it's a triangle, and it's just that it is favorable to democracy that they had to make that intervention. So whether it is Macron that spoke to Tinubu or it's Talon that spoke to Tinubu, what happened was bound to happen because they've learned a great lesson from what has happened in Niger. And in this particular case, they were ready. And it was also clear that the intervention would be effective. I think it's a lucky intervention scenario for them, and they acted fast. And it's good for the three of them.
Yeah, let me go to Barrister now, and I'd like to also speak to what he mentioned earlier in his comment about whether if there was a coup, for instance, in Cameroon, whether Nigeria or any foreign power would try to intervene and restore democracy in that country, given how Paul Biya has held sway there for many years. And we can say the same about Museveni in Uganda. We can say the same about, the leader in Equatorial Guinea. I can't remember, his name escapes me now. Several examples like that. In fact, Rwanda, that is being seen as a shining example of development and economic growth, is also under a pseudo-democracy, given how, Paul Kagame has held sway in that country. So, Barrister, I'd like you to speak to the, hypocrisy of all of this, in Africa, especially as it concerns sit-tight leaders and wanting to, promote democracy? Or is it time for us to start rethinking our current democratic model and sort of design something that suits us on the continent? Barrister.
Yes, thank you very much. I align myself again with the submissions of my noble prof, and to add that democracy has failed the people so far because of the negative and selfish attitude of practitioners in Nigeria. It is sad that Nigerian politicians and indeed Africa see politics not as a tool for social organization, but as a game. Can you believe it? You can see what is happening in our political space, where politics is not guided by ideology, values, and more importantly, character. We have had a politician come on this program who told the world they were in politics for their bellies and not the greatest good for the greatest number. Take Tinubu's almost 3 years administration. The government, while articulating its long-term plans or programs, is almost unconcerned about the immediate needs of the people. Further to that is the disparity in the standard of living of the rulers, which exudes opulence, and that of the majority of Nigerians who are being driven further down the allowable universal poverty line. Again, take the issue of security, for instance. The politicians are sharing the cohesive apparatuses of states to protect themselves while leaving the people who donated their powers to them, and in spite of Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution, which renders irrelevant a government that is unable to provide security and welfare for the people. Our people have been more impoverished under the current administration than they have ever been. And look at what is happening. Sit-tight rulers. Look at what is happening in Cameroon. How can you call that democracy? How can you want to protect such a system? Look at what is happening in Nigeria. Almost all the institutions of state have been captured. Opposition is being driven into the sea. How can you call it democracy where critics are being hunted and hounded and jailed? How can you call that democracy? Why will people not look for an alternative? And the only alternative that is available is military rule, except, of course, civil insurrection. But you know what they will do? They will turn their guns and what have you against the people. So I can assure you that the future looks very bleak, except politicians change their ways and come to understand that democracy as a system of government is one that should first and foremost protect the security and the welfare of the people. Democracy is a system of government.
Barrister, please hold that thought, sir. Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Please move away from your radio. Move away from your radio,
Hello,
sir.
good morning.
Please move away from your radio. Good morning. Go ahead, sir. Yes.
Democracy cannot be compared with military. You are in that situation today now, criticizing or condemning government. In a military regime, they can bounce on you. That is the beauty of democracy. At least we can talk. We can bounce on you, let everybody close the place, and nothing will happen. The lawyer has witnessed both. He has witnessed the military. How have they done? Babangida has a bigger house. Obasanjo has everything. The Absalom, this thing. What have they done that is different? You know, from the civilian. These people, what I want us to do is that we should all same and continue to we'll see what we can do.
Right.
The first republic, 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐿 that we are praising today, it was the military, younger than Traore. Gowon then 32 or 33. So, and the law too can still remember Shagari. When Shagari was overthrown, the whole country trooped out for the military to take over. At the end, what did you see? So we should let the youth know that these military we are talking, they are not better.
Right.
Because the youth can demonstrate, they can do anything. When the militaries are there, when these people, when we were condemning military then, the leaders are running scatter all over the world. They pass through all the route to run out. So we should please try to modify this system and continue to learn on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Barrister, please, you can continue your thoughts.
When the millet came in 1966,
yes,
who invited them? Was it the people? Was it Yomi Ogunlola? Was it my noble professor? Or was it Toba? No. It was the irresponsibility of politicians. When they struck again in 1983, who invited them? Me, Toba, or the noble professor? No. It was the irresponsibility of the politicians. So, if there is another coup in Nigeria, no Nigeria outside the corridors of power is to be blamed. It is the irresponsibility of politicians that always attracts the attention of coup plotters. Look at the countries where they have struck now. Are you happy with Nigeria as it is? Do you know how many Nigerian children, Nigerian women, Nigerian boys, Nigerian men have been slaughtered like chicken as though there was no government? Do you think that can happen under a military administration? Do you know how many of our children have been raped by those animals in the forest? Is it because you are not getting all the news? Do you know how many of our people are dying of hunger? Do you know the frustration of our youth who spent so much time trying to be what we said they should be, read their books, get their degrees, and they did that, and today the society is what it is to them, riding okadas all over the place, jobless, some of them forced to take up criminal activities. Are you going to be celebrating a government that encourages that destroys the future of our children? Are you going to encourage governments that continue to loot the common patrimony, money that is needed to develop our country, and put us in an enviable position among the Committee of Nations, being used to buy bulletproof SUVs, tanks, jets, yachts, houses all over the world that their families cannot trace?
Barrister, I think the point the man was making is that yes, we have all these challenges, but the fact that you can speak about these things on radio is the benefit of democracy. That you experienced military rule, that you'd have been picked up.
Listen, we did under military. Go and look at how judges of those days performed. Our judges kept the judiciary alive. Go and check the records. Unlike what we have today under civilian administration, where judges are being cowed, building houses for them so that they can sell justice.
Okay.
Go and check the records.
Let's wrap up now. Let's wrap up, Prof. So it will not sound like one is advocating for military rule. I think it's important to draw a very good conclusion to this conversation, Prof.
Yeah, I think what Barrister is trying to do is to correct the wrong impression that we should settle for the minimum that democracy offers.
Okay.
Democracy offers far greater opportunities than we are realizing in the current dispensation. And I think it's important for us to raise the expectation. We shouldn't settle down for mediocre performance by politicians, and we should not accept illicit or corrupt practices as if it is inherent in democracy, and therefore we should live with it. I think we must be concerned about the poor conditions, about poverty, about inequality, and about unemployment. And these are the indicators through which we can measure whether a government is doing well or not. And if they are not doing well, we should say it rather than accept it as part of a regular life of a democratic society.
Right.
And say that at least it is worse, it is better than military rule. No, military rule should not be the benchmark. We should have our expectation of government and hold them to account when they don't perform.
Right.
So military rule is not an alternative. If you look at the way they rule by decree, they bring ouster clauses. They are not questionable. You can debate, but debate is not the issue. The debate is that there should be an outcome.
Prof.
Those in government
Sorry, Prof. I'm sorry to cut in.
Yes.
How can any rational mind prefer a military administration to a civilian administration if we were doing what we are supposed to do?
Definitely.
How?
Absolutely.
Right. We must go now. We must go. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on the podium today. It returns next Saturday, 9 a.m., right here on 32 FM 94.9. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.